Hi, Rick Stroley with New Home Sales Coach here to talk about the remodeling sales funnel. And this is what the steps we're going to take to go from when you first get a lead to actually getting the final contract or purchase agreement. And with the focus being getting the plan deposit. Now you notice at the bottom here we have this little word called confidence and several arrows. We're going to talk about specifically injecting confidence builders through strategic locations throughout the sales funnel. Last week we talked about step one, setting the consultation. This week we're going to start with focusing on step two, the initial consultation. Right away, the biggest mistake you can make is when you walk into someone's house for the first time and start talking about their project is to jump right into what you could do for their project and how you work and the process and products and all sorts of good stuff. The first thing you want to do is to stop, educate them about remodeling, and we have a PowerPoint presentation that you can use right below here. You can personalize it for your company. We also have a sample of how it's personalized for another company. And as you go through that and educate them about remodeling, talk about design build versus bidding, architects versus draftspeople and lead designers, and ultimately show them why you do what you do, you're going to have them answer one simple question. And the question is this: would you consider hiring us as your remodeler? If and when the answer is yes, then you will start to focus on their project. Now, the best way to focus on their project is to not get too detailed with space planning ideas and or specific pricing, but utilize what's called a design consultation. In other words, you're going to bring your designer in to meet with them either at their house or at your office, whatever makes more sense, and go through some specific information. So what you're going to leave behind with them after this first meeting is a needs, wants, and wish list. What do they need, want, and wish to have in their remodeling project? You're going to show them and have them authorize a design consultation agreement. And I recommend you charge $250 for this. You can get a copy of this agreement right below here. You're going to give them a copy of your plan design agreement. There's one right below here too if you want to compare notes. You're going to give them some questions that the designer is going to ask them, and you're going to show them the different steps to remodeling, to going from this point all the way to having their project completed. Prior to the design consultation, you're going to have your designer call them to introduce himself or herself and remind them to answer the questions and the needs, wants, and wish list. Now, at the design consultation, nothing really flashy. Simply review the needs, wants, and wish list. Go through some preliminary space planning ideas. No concept plans, please. Maybe just some red lines, drawing something up by hand right in front of them, talking about preliminary scope of work, preliminary selections, and the plan design phase. The whole goal of this is to build enough confidence to get them to authorize a plan deposit and give you hard money so that you can do some concept plans, you can finish up your selections, and go ahead with a design interview. Now, as a follow-up, you want your designer to send a thank you note because they're going to be working closely with them as you move forward. And then the plan deposit phase is simply the same thing you'll be doing right now. Finalize the plan, finalize as many allowances and selections as you can. We don't want to go into the project having a whole lot of things hanging over our head. People want transparency today. They want to make sure that they don't feel like there's a bait and switch where you give them allowance for one thing and it's not anything near what they can, what their tastes were. Go over your collection timetables, your financing, and then do your contract. That is how it works. Now, the confidence where you're going to inject specifically is going to be guarantees. It's a couple of really cool guarantees I'd like for remodeling. Number one is a design satisfaction guarantee. You're going to bring that up right here at this meeting for the design consultation. And in other words, you're going to say, look, we're going to meet with my designer, and what we'll do is we're going to do some preliminary space planning ideas. We're going to do a preliminary scope of work and preliminary selections. I'm going to make notes of that. You're going to sign off on it, and I will guarantee that the budget that I give you, in other words, a low to high range, is going to fall within what we've discussed. If we can't produce a plan that does that, I'll refund your money. And then the second thing that I recommend doing is when you get into the plan deposit phase and going toward the final contract is you offer them a zero variance guarantee because a lot of people are worried about going over budget once they get into it. So you give them a zero variance guarantee, which more or less says, hey, outside of any unrecapped allowances and any unforeseen circumstances, I'm going to guarantee that there will be zero variance on the price for your remodel. In other words, you're going to cover your estimates. And read the information below on the unforeseen circumstances. That's where you open up a wall, and of course you didn't know what it was in there, and of course the allowances need to be recapped, preferably before you get into the contract. Happy selling.